Today's episode is all about my Ohio boys, Cody Griffin and Holden Holland. And I'm going to tell you, these two guys are absolute deer killers. Cody here in this episode, he's got one deer on his mind. He's hunting this deer to death for like a week straight, not even knowing that one of the neighbors had already killed the deer.
We're in here after deer call splits. Last Friday, the 20th, I had pictures of him. I actually had a 30-second video on the Exodus camera over across the edge of the food plot on a scrape. This deer's a giant, probably 185-inch deers.
That is the worst feeling ever. It almost just makes you want to pull over and puke, because I've done it. I think a lot of guys have done it, but that's just the way hunting is, and that's what happens. You know, we don't own these deer. These deer travel from properties to properties, and that's just life. So Cody has to pivot, change what's going on after he finds out the buck of his dreams that year is dead, and he has to regroup, pull himself together, and get on a big deer. And he does just that. So stay tuned and check this out, because it's a pretty interesting hunt and a story that Cody Griffin has to tell you.
Whitetail Edge is brought to you by Black Widow Deer Lures, Redneck Blinds, Rocky, Antler King, Rogue Bowstrings.
After I found out that splits had died, my target deer that I was looking at had died, I kind of switched focus, and the rest of the year was kind of a struggle for me. I had some other big deer on camera, but unfortunately the time frame of when I was getting them in the daylight to when I could be able to hunt them was not working out for me, because they had already harvested the crops. The deer wasn't crossing my farm like it usually was, and so it made it tough to get on that deer. So I kind of searched around the rest of the year for a deer that I was interested in hunting, and I had an older deer, actually a 10-year-old deer that I targeted after you know, so long of looking for a mature deer. I decided I was going to try to find him and hunt him, and I located him. I'd always had him on camera and rut, but I could never find him late season. So coming in the late season, I located this old deer, and we went in at night and hung a set to hunt this deer. Come muzzleloader season, he got killed I believe it was the first day of season. So I'd hung a camera probably 3 weeks before muzzleloader season on a new farm. It's a farm that I've always had, just don't hunt it much. I've had a camera there for 3 years, but was never getting good mature deer on camera. I knew there was a big deer in the area. So I moved my camera 250 yards back toward where I thought maybe the deer was bedding, and it was the first deer that showed up. And when I got a picture of him, I instantly called him wide load. I mean, he's a real wide, big, mature deer. My focus switched to hunting him.
Ben Rising here with Whitetail Edge. Are you wanting to give yourself an edge? If you are, check out the brand new Black Widow Smoking Stick. It's an unbelievable product with a burn time of 3.5 hours. No more getting in and out of the stand every hour to relight another stick. This one will last all evening or all morning during your hunt. It's a great product. You got to give it a try. BlackWidowDeerLures.com.
Yesterday, somebody killed a 10.5-year-old that I was after. So I threw this camera out a week and a half ago on this farm. It's a farm that I haven't hunted for a few years, ran a camera on and stuff, but decided to come back in here late season because we always find some sheds in here. Decided to come back in late season, throw a camera up, and lo and behold, we had a bear show up. So hopefully we can get him out here in daylight. Wednesday, I was supposed to be coming bow hunting. Ended up getting the flu at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And sure enough, that deer walked in front of the camera Wednesday afternoon at 4:30. So hopefully today's the day that he walks out. It warmed up a bunch today. We got a big snow coming tomorrow. Well, actually, it's coming in the middle of the night tonight, so hopefully the deer are up feeding a little bit about this farm. It's just a big grown-up pasture, and there's a bunch of just CRB out in front of us. Well, down to my left is a bunch of honeysuckle and big, thick bedding area. And those deer are funneling back and forth. There's all open pasture all around this. And then there's feed on the other side of that open pasture too. So those deer are funneling through here. So hopefully we can get him on his feet and walk
I
him
went
in.
and hung a set on the Friday before muzzleloader season. I waited for the right wind, right weather to get in there and hunt him, and he was one of the first deer that showed up. Actually come in from a different direction than I thought he was going to come from. And we had backdoored the stand to keep our scent out of the area, and he come from directly downwind the way we did not think he was going to come.
I was holding right dead perfect in him. If anything, it was back just a little. I was holding right on him. There's no way. I was like this for a long time, then I come up here and was right here. And this is how I shot him right here. I know. Where's the joint? That deer come from back, actually, the way we come in, just, he was on the other side of the ridge, and he come in, come right up to us. He's 55 yards when I shot him. But what happened was, we thought these deer was gonna come from back in behind me here. There's real thick bedding back in here. We thought these deer was gonna come from back there and work their way right past us in this CRP field here. Well, that deer come from behind us, and he cut our tracks where we walked into the stand. And him and the doe that was with him both cut our tracks, and they got nervous as could be. And he turned and went back, and I had some branches in my way. I was actually knelt clear down in the stand, and I had my gun on him. Well, I had some branches and I couldn't get, so I got stood back up, and I was able to get a hole through there. It was quartered away from me, and I had one tree, and all I could see was about 5 ribs up in from the back up, and I put it right beside that tree and squeezed it off, and he hunched up, went down there. The deer didn't even act to hit. I mean, he ran right down here and stood, and I was trying to reload to get another shot off at him, but he didn't even act to hit. We weren't even sure about it. I mean, I was dead steady on him, so I'm confident that bullet's right where I was aiming, but he ran down here, he didn't act to hit, and he ran over the hill. Holden thought I missed him, so we went back and reviewed the footage. The deer is definitely hit. He's hit, I mean, right in the rib cage. He's quartered away from me. It should be a perfect shot, but them deer are tough. They are really tough. He didn't even act like he was hurt at all. So I hope the good Lord blesses us here, and that deer's laying dead down there. We're gonna pack up, get down out of here, and we're actually gonna walk down to where he stood down there and see if there's blood there. Let's get down where I shot him, and then we'll walk down here where he stood. Freaking hell, man. Holy crap, dude. Stud. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Oh my gosh, man, we've worked our tails off for that this year. Thank you, Lord. Golly. That is a stud, man. Daggone. I mean, this right here, guys, is what it's all about. We worked our tail ends off this year. I started out the year hunting a 198-inch deer that I let walk last year. Is probably a 170-inch deer, and unfortunately the good Lord didn't want me to kill it. The neighbor killed it, but I can't be happier.
Stay tuned for the next episode of Whitetail Edge as you watch young Tyler Hickman, Chad Spangler's stepson, go after a really big deer. He's been on some big deer, he's practicing management, and he finally gets to pull the trigger himself after spending all season filming Chad.
Yeah, baby.